Yep.
I mean, there's boars out there apparently, but you know.
Yeah, I work with a fair few of them. Actually, that was recorded. If any of my work colleagues are watching this, and I know a few of them may be, I didn't just say that. I did not just say that. Okay, welcome back to Monsterhearts 2 in the Shadow of the Mountain. We have 3 returning players this week. Unfortunately, Paul has been called away with a family emergency and is unable to join us tonight. This is going to be the final session of the 2-session run that we're running for this part of the game. Although I am planning on running this again later in the year. With that said, could we just have, we're going to go left to right as I see it on the screen, and just have you reintroduce your characters and give the 30-second pitch, and just say where your character was at the end of the last session and what was happening to your character. So we will start with Donna. Would you like to give us the 30-second pitch of your character and tell us what had happened at the end of the last session?
So I am playing Sienna, the Fae. She is an exceptionally friendly person and a bit of a social butterfly. When we last saw her last week, she was in her room waiting for Daniel to show up. And she was doodling in her sketchbook with some pressed flowers when they erupted into life. And some kind of, I don't know, I'll take a guess and say Fae goddess jumped into her room, or at least into her mind.
There we go. Jordan, would you give us the 30-second pitch for your character, and where were you at the end of the last session?
Yeah, I'm playing Medea McInnes, who's how should I put it? Like a sticky-fingered rich brat. Who blames the world for her own problems. And seeks to get back at it for that reason. And when we left her last week, she was getting cross-faded and making a lewd innuendo at poor Daniel. Oh, you're muted.
That's 3 times so far tonight, and we've only been on 2 minutes. I'm breaking my current record. Okay, so Daniel, would you like to give us the 30-second pitch of your character? And where were you at the end of the last session?
So Daniel is the son of some people working in the American embassy, except that they sent him away to this rural school in Wales because it has such a good education and also will keep them out of their hair. Unfortunately, he was hit by our missing ghoul on a motorcycle and has been dead for a while. His roommate rather viciously described him as a completely bland and personality-free waif, and that's fair enough, but he's also generally a bit muddy, and because he was indeed left dead out in the road once, and he still kind of shows that. When at the end of last session, he attempted to go meet our Fae, Sienna, and follow through on a promise, but she wasn't where he expected to find her, and so instead he got roped into a group of other students who were getting high, drinking beers, and he is desperately uncomfortable, but attempting to drink a beer and fit in, and it's not working.
Okay, brilliant. Yeah, I'm just checking I'm not muted. Okay, so brilliant. So we will start the session with Sienna and follow up from the cliffhanger at the end of the last session. So Sienna, you were in your room. You were looking at this book of pressed flowers, and you heard a voice call out, Sienna, Sienna. You've been away for such a long time. The book burst into life. All the pressed flowers flew out into the room, swirled around, and formed into the outline of a beautiful and well-endowed woman. Sienna, you've been away from us for such a long time.
So has this kind of thing happened to Sienna before, or is this completely out of the blue?
This exact thing hasn't happened
Okay.
to you before, but you are from the local community, aren't you?
Yeah. So I may have heard stories. So I guess what kind of excuses are going to be enough for a goddess? I've been very busy, you know. I was hoping to get out to the mountain soon, like at the weekend.
The weekend.
In a few.
Sienna. Sienna, what is a weekend to us? And she steps forward. There's a scent of mountain flowers. There's the feel of fresh water running through a river. You can feel there's a slight dampness in the room and a fragrance that just fills your body and mind. Sienna, she says as she steps over to you and holds out her hand.
So I reach out to grab it, and I kind of say to myself, well, I guess a 6-day weekend wouldn't be completely unheard of. It's Monday night.
Oh, Sienna, we gather, and you have been gone from us for such a while. You have not been to visit us since you were but a child. And she looks you over, and you are not a child anymore. You have a place in the court. You have a place in my court, in the court of Bloodwen. Come see me.
Okay. I'll visit you in the morning, maybe. Someone made a promise to me, and they're going to visit me. And you know, I have a couple of things here at the moment that really I should pay attention to. But I promise I'll visit you soon.
Bloodwen, you would favor others over myself, over your queen.
Well, I mean, the promises that I make have to be delivered on regardless, don't they?
True, but these are not mutually exclusive.
Oh, okay. So when is it that you want me to visit you?
Before the sun rises.
Oh, okay. That's early. That's too early. I say to my...
Come to the bridge that flows over the creek where the wildflowers grow. Pass under it, and you will enter my lands.
Okay.
She steps up to you. I will give you the key. And she kisses her fingers and plants them on your forehead. And her hand moves round your face. And she places a flower in the lapel of your shirt, your school shirt. I will see you later. We will see you later.
So I think Sienna is, I don't know, for once in her life, not going to have the last word in a conversation, and merely like kind of wave by.
And the flowers fall to the floor. Whatever was animating them, whatever was holding them in place, the sensation you were feeling is gone. And the flowers drift slowly to the floor.
I think.
Sorry, go on, Daniel.
Oh, I was going to say, I think the entire time that this is happening, like the minute that the book starts talking, the hairs on the back of Medea's neck stand up. And it's almost like there's a smell or something in the air has changed. And she's already a little just like too high to quite, or how should I put it? Like, is this drugs or is this magic? Sometimes it's hard to tell. This is clearly magic. And there's magic somewhere happening right now. But she's not quite enough in herself.
Very good, Jordan. Very, very good, Medea. Can you please roll stare into the void? Gaze into the void.
Sure.
Or gaze into the abyss. Sorry, I keep on getting that wrong.
Where was the link to the roll for your party? Was that on the...
That's on the chat. It's on the group chat.
I found it. Rolling 2d6. Submit. I got 12.
Okay. So with the 12, on a 10, the abyss shows you lucid visions, and you take one forward addressing them. So you get a feeling of magic in the air. You get a feeling of something going on, something powerful in the building with you. You can smell spring flowers, and you can feel cold water running over your body.
I think
you also have a taste of something irony in your mouth.
Am I tasting my own blood?
It tastes like blood, but if you go to check, there's nothing there.
I think what might even happen is that my hex is one of them is watching. I can see through other people's eyes. So what might happen is at a certain point, I lean back really deep in my chair, and suddenly I'm not seeing the scene in front of me anymore, but I'm seeing what Sienna's seeing, and I hear like the second half of their conversation where they talk about the bridge.
By all means, what is your role for that?
I was just thinking that might be how the gaze into the abyss kind of answered itself, if that makes sense.
By all means, yeah, that works. So you see this vision play out, but you don't see Medea. You don't see the bedroom. What you see is a forest. The floor is full of wildflowers, and mist lingers over it. It's twilight. The sun shines strongly as it sets behind the mountain. You can see it catch the hair of a blonde-haired woman. She is pale of skin. Her skin is faintly green, and in her eyes you can see flowers. Standing opposite her, you see a creature with the aspect of a boar. And that creature replaces Medea. And speaks as Medea speaks.
Oh, you mean Sienna?
Oh, sorry, Sienna. I'm terrible with character names. I do apologize. As I said, I've rushed to get home for this, so I'm not really quite as ready as I should be. Yes, I mean Sienna.
So, do I know it's her? Like, when I look at the board, do I think like Sienna? Or are the visions not that clear? Like they're lucid in that I'm hearing this conversation word for word,
You
But
hear
the
the
context.
you hear the blonde-haired lady say the name Sienna as part of it, so you do know it is Sienna.
I see. Well then. I think.
So Hugo is in the party. Victor has passed out on his bed. Everyone is a little bit dazed. There's a lot of smoke hanging in the air. Victor crumples up the last tin of craft beer and throws it into a heap in the corner. Oh, I think I've had too much to drink. Does anyone else have anything to smoke? Oh, Victor's gone. Victor's gone already.
And Daniel hasn't smoked anything, but he's been in a closed room where people are smoking everything they've got. So I'm sure he's got contact high at this point.
One thing I'm going to say is, as Daniel moves around, normally people would displace the smoke. When Daniel moves, the smoke doesn't move around him. He appears to move through it. But everyone's so stoned they don't pay attention to this. Oh, I need something else to smoke. Night's too young. Thomas is downstairs, isn't he?
Wanker.
Yeah, wanker, but he's got a stash. He's got a stash.
And you're telling me you know where it is?
Oh, it's going to be in his room.
You know where his fucking stash is?
It's going to be in his room, isn't it? The guy has no imagination at all. For God's sake, he cuts the stuff with oregano.
Fuck, man.
He's got to keep the good stuff down there. He's got to keep it somewhere where it's safe.
There's no way. Trust me, it's not in his fucking room.
Well, let's go and have a look.
How do you know what's in his fucking room? And Daniel sounds so uncomfortable as he repeats the swearing in there.
Oh, wait. There is something much more important.
What's more important than whether you're in Thomas's room finding his weed?
I'm pretty sure I just heard Daniel say the F. He said fuck. He said fuck.
Oh man, that's are we corrupting poor Daniel? You go.
Medea. She lifts up her beer. And she tosses it back and she says, I'll drink to that.
And Hugo leans over and puts his hand on Daniel's leg. Are we corrupting you?
Oh.
Do you feel corrupted?
Well, you know, little baby knows how to say fuck.
Oh,
little baby should know how to find some weed.
Oh, it's hot in here. Oof.
I was going to offer to help, but you don't have to be so patronizing.
Oh.
I mean, I can swear.
Is there anything else you can do?
Takes another sip of his beer, which hasn't really gone down much at all, but it's in a can. I mean, you can't really tell.
The stuff we've been smoking is absolute shit. Let's go and see if we can get some of the good stuff. You up for that, Dan?
I can probably handle that.
Okay. He stands up and stumbles a bit. Ooh. Yeah. Can someone point me towards the door?
Medea points to a window.
He stumbles over, opens it up, and...
Wretches.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, this door's got no floor? who stole the floor?
And it was the right door to do that one out of.
Okay, I failed finding doors. Someone else try. Medea? Pick a door for Dan.
And
there are two.
You know what? This is perfect, but this is so perfect. Oh, this is so perfect.
I have to know what you're thinking now.
I'm wondering if I push him out the fucking window.
Hugo or Daniel?
Yeah.
Or everyone?
No, Hugo.
Oh my goodness. I guess it's a good thing I can't be double traumatized.
Like,
you suggested
Medea
it. I
is
think you're
wrestling with her
committed.
own darkest urges right now as she watches Hugo dangling.
Okay.
About who would ever know? Who would ever know?
Is Medea wondering that out loud, or is is she that stoned?
No, I don't think she's wondering that out loud. But there's like the wicked voice in her head. Is saying like this. Like there will never be a better opportunity for payback than the one you're looking at right this instant. All right. So yes, I think Medea gets up out of her chair and she sways a bit. And she leans over and she kind of leans up against the window. Hugo.
He turns around and looks at you.
And then
he puts his arm on the window, trying to strike a kite. Medea, and stumbles a bit.
Puts her hand on his back and says, "No, you aren't very good at finding doors." And that's when she shoves. And I think I'm probably trying to lash out physically here.
Yes, I believe you are. Can you please roll that? I believe that's plus hot.
No, that's plus volatile.
Oh, plus volatile. Sorry, I'm thinking of Legend of the Elements, which is the game I ran on Friday. What did you get?
I'm sorry, I'm just looking for our Roll20. I got a 3.
Okay. You go. Okay. You go to push him, and he stumbles at the last minute. Gaining experience for failing the roll. But instead of pushing him, you slip, and your momentum carries you over the edge. You are hanging there, half out, half in, half out, and your grip is starting to go. He just looks, whoa, and stumbles back and falls back into the armchair he was sitting in. He's just so far gone, he's not sure what's going on. So, Medea, you're hanging half in and half out of the window. The question has to be, Daniel, what do you do?
I think Daniel has a moment of just sputtering, like, what? And then rushes over. I'm going to try to pull her back in.
Okay. So in that case, then, I would like you to roll Keep Your Cool, please.
I am not good at keeping my cool. That's a 3.
Okay.
I think there's this like there's the moment where Medea realizes it's not God, what's his name, Hugo going over it, it's her going over, and there's just like this long fuck.
So have any of you seen Die Hard?
Yes.
You know the bit at the end with Hans Gruber and the watch? Daniel rushes over to grab Medea just as Medea slips. Their arms lock. Medea's arm slips down and for a moment grabs the watch that Daniel wears. It holds for a second and there is an audible snap. Medea falls. It's almost as in slow motion. You come away, you end up looking at the watch in your hand and you fall 3 stories down.
What are the rules for dying in the 2nd edition?
If you have a look on the player sheet that was linked in the email, there is something in there called Skirting Death.
I thought it was going to be comic because I thought the private suites were 1 floor up.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're quite right. It's not 3 stories up; it's 1 story up. So you've got ground
No,
floor.
but I like this. I like this being over an overhang or something.
Okay, so this is built. The front of the actual building is built. Is built up on the side of the cliffs. No, sorry, on the side of the hill itself. So you've got the ancestral gardens that were part of the grounds itself. So it sweeps down sharply. As you fall, you land hard, and you take 4 harm. And you now have the option of either becoming your dark self or losing the strings you have on everyone.
That's slightly less good than the options for dying in Apocalypse World. But I'll become my darkest self.
Okay. You land, you hit the floor. There is a shattering crack as your body breaks on the rolling cliff that goes down, the rolling bank that goes down. You stumble, you roll down the cliff, and you smack against the fountain that's at the bottom. Your body is battered, bruised. You have blood coming from your head. The blood drips down your body. It drips down your arm. It embraces the watch that you hold. Would you please gain a sympathetic token on Daniel?
Yes.
There is a great scream goes out, and you see walking towards the actual dormitory itself a single female standing at the bottom of the hill. She runs and rushes up to the injured figure lying next to the fountain, and she rushes over to you. Medea, what happened? Are you okay? She kneels down next to you, and you see that this is Wendy. And Wendy is shocked. She's panicked. What happened? Are you okay? You see that she's reaching for her phone. And she starts to dial for the emergency services.
And I think Medea, kind of like bleeding from her temples, she turns to Wendy and gives her a kind of like wicked stare. Now, wicked isn't quite the right word, but a very kind of intense, angry stare, and says, "Speak not your empty platitudes, child. I have had enough of your mewling. I am fine, and may you mule no more. And I curse, and this is a curse. I think one of my hexes is Ring of Lies, and whenever someone speaks a falsehood, I think it causes them physical pain.
That's correct. Can you please roll with Dark then? Are you using the pregnancy test as the token in this case?
Yes. Although part of my darkest self is that all of your hexes have unexpected side effects and are more effective than you are comfortable with. Okay. So I think by definition, my hex probably works, but it works in a bad way, or in a way that I could still roll anyway, though.
Okay, would you please roll?
All right, I got an 8.
Okay, so an 8 on hex is 8 to 9. It works, but you choose one. The casting does you 1 harm. The hex has word side effects, or it triggers your dark itself.
I think I'll have to go with the hex has weird side effects.
Okay.
Or no, I'm going with the casting does you 1 harm.
Okay.
And like I think like my wounds probably become even more profuse.
Okay. As you speak to her,
blood spills from my mouth as I speak these words.
Okay. You speak dark and eldritch words. You summon forth your hatred. You tap into a dark power that lingered just beyond the shadows, just beyond sight. And as you speak, the words become blood in your mouth. You speak, and as you speak, you spray out in a lisping language which had not been heard in this land for centuries. And as you speak, the blood sprays. For that thing, and it sprays up directly in her face. She's shocked. Her hand goes to her face, and what? Oh, I've got to get you help. Oh, she says as she clutches her stomach.
false sympathies.
She had been dialing for the emergency services, and the phone answers. Hello, which service would you require? And she lifts it and turns her back. No, I'm sorry, it was a mistake. Oh! As she clutches her stomach again and hangs up the phone. What have you done to me? Ah. 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 She clutches her stomach again.
Nothing you did not already do to yourself.
You're a bitch, do you realize that? You keep on treating people like this. And she clutches her stomach. Oh. And
treating people like what?
She lets out a shout of pain and drops to her knees. You can see blood coming out of the bottom of her skirt. It's running down her leg.
Truth hurts, doesn't it?
Oh! She pounds the ground.
You shouldn't live a lie, Wendy.
What? What do you mean? What have you done? What have you done to me?
And I think Medea gets up.
And there is a popping noise as her belt, the clasp on her belt breaks, and her stomach is visibly distending.
Wendy or Medea?
Wendy.
Oh, Wendy. She gets up and in like a single motion. Sorry, it's a bug. Mosquitoes coming out in force. She turns around and disappears into the darkness of the forest.
Okay. So we'll cut that there. Yeah. Daniel and Sienna, you've heard this great shout from outside. Daniel's seen Medea go over the edge and land and hit, and has seen at least somewhat of what's happened. How are you reacting?
Yeah, and when Daniel sees her go over the edge and kind of waits a second too long, because I mean, there's nothing much he can do. He's still kind of grasping at thin air. And then he goes, oh no, oh fuck, oh no. And I'm just going to run off, try to find someone, find Sienna, find an adult. I don't know, because I just saw somebody die again, probably.
Okay. So you go down to Sienna's room. What do you do? Do you pound on the door? Do you walk through the door?
Yeah, normally I would probably stop and knock politely and everything, but I'm kind of scattered at the moment, so I don't think it occurs to me. Although, does Sienna have input?
I think the door was open because I was at the time waiting for you and kind of just observing out into the corridor or into the common room. So you don't need to, but I think yes, I think you probably need to grab Sienna's attention. She is on the bed, kind of daydreaming.
Yeah, so Daniel rushes in, and the door is not open quite far enough for him to come into the room without nudging it a bit. But he doesn't nudge the door. It doesn't move. He just kind of comes through the edge of the door. And Sienna grab her shoulder and try to jostle her a little to get her attention because she's totally zoned out. And his jacket is, as usual, a little bit muddy, but there's a little bit of blood mixed in with the mud now.
I didn't think you were coming.
I was trying to find you, but no, Medea fell out a window, and I think she's dead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go. I mean, I'm not grabbing a bag of popcorn or anything, but this I got to see.
Okay, so you run to the front door and down the ramp that leads up to the actual dorm itself. You see a figure slumped in its school uniform at the base of the fountain. It writhes in pain.
And can we just veil or anything the pregnancy horror, because I can't really deal with that.
That's fine. We'll excard that then.
Okay.
Okay, so you see a figure at the base of the fountain. She's writhing in pain. She turns on her back. Her body arches, and you see Wendy. Her limbs are bending at impossible angles. Ah! Ah! She's thrashing on the floor.
It was Medea that fell, not Wendy. I just kind of looking back and forth between them. Daniel has no idea what's going on. Everything is terrible.
Do we see Medea there, or has she?
No, Medea's run off into the night.
Okay, so Sienna will just run over to Wendy and try to see what's wrong with her.
Okay. You can see that her body, as you get close, you can see her body is distended in different ways. Her arms are not equal length anymore, and they seem to be shifting. Her skin ripples as if something is moving under it. You can see that as she opens her eyes are totally white.
Okay. I wonder if Wendy's phone is still got a line open to 999 right beside her.
It does indeed.
So maybe I'll pick it up and hello, are you there?
Yes. This is emergency services. We had someone dial through and then just say no help was needed, but didn't close the line. I can hear someone screaming. What's going on?
You need to send an ambulance to the Dragon College.
Okay. This is a national number. Whereabouts is that?
In the Brecon Park in Wales.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've got it. I'm going to route a ambulance there. Can you stay on the line while we get the ambulance?
Sure.
Okay.
And in the background, Daniel's just going she's not dead. How is she not dead?
I have no fucking idea. I'm answering both questions. the guy on the line and Daniel.
What? Sorry, what's going on there? Has someone been hurt?
Yes, definitely.
What's happened?
It looks like their arms are broken or something. I don't know.
At that, Wendy bolts upright, but she stands upright, so not so much standing. She goes stiff and then tilts upright. She looks at you both with white eyes. And when she speaks, it's in a language you don't recognize. And it's not her natural voice. It's a low, rumbling voice. Borachai. Hi. And she looks around. And she turns and grabs Daniel. Borakai!
I think I'm just trying desperately to push her away from me because I don't know what's up here, but I am not into it.
Okay. In which case, then, I'm just trying to find the place sheet, which I've got far too many windows open. And yes, I've got it open 3 times. That's why I can't find it. Okay. So at this point, I would like you to. Are you trying to run away, or are you trying to keep your cool?
I guess maybe run away, or maybe lash out physically, or
Okay. So
one of
what?
those options.
So describe to me what you're actually doing.
So Daniel, I mean, as she's grabbing him, he's just trying to kind of like get his arms between them so he can get some distance and push her away from him and get him disconnected from where she's grabbing him with her creepy, wrong jointed arms. And
Okay, I'd like you to keep your cool then. You're not trying to actually hurt her, are you?
no,
No.
I'm not really concerned about whether or not I'm hurting her.
No, that sounds like keep your cool then.
Okay, and I am so bad at keeping my cool. This is going to go terribly. Haha, that's somehow a 10.
Okay, so on a 10, you roll with cold. On a 10 up, you keep your cool and gain insight. Ask the MC a question about the situation and take 1 forward when acting on that information. What would you like to ask me?
What's talking through Wendy right now?
It isn't Wendy. You don't know quite what it is, but the language sounds like ancient Welsh. It's certainly the demonstrations they gave of it during the opening ceremony at the commencement of the year. It sounds very much like the traditional speech that you hear during that, but it certainly doesn't sound like modern Welsh. Borahai, poith gwithei, Borahai.
I don't speak ancient Welsh.
As you look on, normally where you find things, you can pass through things. Normally where you would just slip between the worlds, slip between the physical and the spiritual. When you touch Wendy, it is all physical. There is a ghostly presence about her.
So I can't just slip through her hands even if I want to?
You can't just slip through the hands. You believe that there's a ghost possessing her.
In that case, say like, what do you want? I mean, maybe I can help or something. I mean, I don't know why you're possessing Wendy, but this can't be useful. And glancing to Sienna, like she totally knows what I'm talking about, and she could help with this juncture.
So yeah, Sienna is, I don't know, maybe putting a fingertip to the flower that's still in her lapel and like asking the goddess for help or insight as to exactly how to get this thing out of her friend.
Okay, can you roll in? Can you gaze into the abyss, please?
Yeah.
With plus dark.
That is a 7.
Okay. So on a 7, on gaze into the abyss. On a 7, the abyss shows you confusing and alarming visions, but you get your answer nonetheless. Okay. You see an empty land. There are trees everywhere. There's hearth on the ground. The heather on the ground. You see large mountains. You see a standing stone. You see behind the stone itself, there appears to be a plinth of some sort. Men and women gather around the plinth. Their bodies are naked, but their flesh is painted painted with woad, painted with mud, painted with more biological paints as well. You get the taste of iron in your mouth, and you feel a distinct taste of blood on your lips again. You see the figures gathered round a young woman that moves over to the plinth itself. She lays down, and you can see that she has flowers in her hair. She has a bouquet in her hands, and they start to chant. As they chant, one of them raises his hand, and there is a bronze dagger in it with a bone hilt. It catches the light of the dying sun, and he reverses his grip and drives it down into the woman's chest. Your vision becomes red. You see blood. You see blood. You see blood in the river. The blood flows down the streams to the sea, and as it flows, it gradually vanishes. Where once was blood, now is nothing but pure water. And your vision comes back to the dagger and to the plinth and to the standing stone at the top of the mountain.
So Sienna, is her eyes glaze over, maybe in the same way as Daniel found her in her bedroom. And she just murmurs under her breath, but still, I think, audible to Daniel, I think they killed her.
I mean, yeah, she's dead.
Yeah. I don't know if this is an exceptionally bad idea, but if we bring her back to where she died, maybe that would help.
That might. I mean, I don't know what she's asking, but maybe that's what she wants.
At this time of night, or in the evening, whatever time it is the mountain visible, or is it all shrouded?
The mountain has mist around it. As you look up in the moonlight, you can see the mountain standing tall above the actual castle itself.
Okay. So I'm going to take a deep breath and stand in front of Wendy and kind of put my hand up in front of me, like I'm not going to hurt you, and point at the mountain and ask in modern Welsh, I guess, which is the closest I can get to ancient, if she wants to go there.
She turns and looks at you, and I'm going to be doing English, mumbled English, to represent the Welsh itself, because I'm not actually a Welsh speaker. What's the pity? White mountain, white hill, mound. She puts her hand up to you, and she says something, but the word druid is definitely in there. It's almost a question.
I don't think there's any druids left. There's no druids. Unless there is. Unless there is, I say to Daniel, I don't know.
Daniel definitely does not speak Welsh because he's not himself Welsh. So he's just sitting here going, what is she saying? What are you saying to her? What's going on?
Is this The land of gods? She's really confused.
No, this is Wales. You're still at home. The mountain is up here. We're alive. We're all alive. But
What,
you're
We're
a
definitely
ghost.
all alive. Yes.
what is Wales?
Oh, that's a long question, huh? But in Welsh, it won't be some kind of foreign Saxon word, right? It'll be Cymru or something that might be close. I don't know.
Okay, so
Um,
Cymru, she looks confused by this.
yeah, we're all alive. This is the real world.
She catches the sight of the flower in your lapel. Her eyes go wide, and she drops to her knees, almost in supplication.
Okay.
Are you a druid?
I am not a fucking druid. I'm going to say something that'll sound crazy because it is a little bit crazy, but don't tell anyone, okay? We can go to the river and we can go under the bridge and take her to another world.
Does Daniel have to promise to not tell anyone?
Oh, that's me asking for a promise, right? You gotta.
That definitely sounds like you asking for a promise.
Yeah,
Yeah. That sounds totally crazy, but yeah. And Daniel kind of elaborately crosses his heart.
Okay, and hopes not to die.
Yes, definitely
Yes.
hopes not to die.
Okay. Get your XP. So I'll turn back to Wendy and I'll point at the flower and say, we can go to the river and bring you to the next world.
You are guide.
I can guide you,
Yes.
but you have to promise to leave Wendy's body. Your spirit is going to go and you're going to leave this girl alone.
What is Wendy?
Wendy is who you're in. Look down. This is not you. This is my friend.
She looks at the body and sees that she's dressed in strange clothes. She reaches up and starts to pull them from her body.
No. Wendy wouldn't like that.
When points to Daniel, Wendy?
No, Daniel, and I point at her, Wendy.
Daniel Brynne, you are the white one. Yes?
I mean, we're all
What?
right.
Are you?
I don't understand the question.
Are you also you are both gods? This she says this in a language you don't understand, but that Sienna definitely does.
So I'll be kind of translating, and she thinks you're like, I don't know, a god like me, or the white one. I don't know what that means. I'm not a god. But we're gonna bring her to where she needs to go, and she's gonna leave Wendy alone, and then.
And at this point,
Yeah, okay.
At this point, she will follow you to where you lead her.
Okay.
And at this point, we're going to jump to another scene with Medea. Medea, when you ran away, where did you go to?
Obviously, I went to the Grove. It's a shame. Would have been a real good time But yes, I think I ran away into the deep forest. To the grove I know, which is sacred to the goddess.
Okay. So you step into this grove. It has rocks cover part of the floor, but wildflowers grow all round. The trees are tall here. The light from the moon has trouble penetrating. All around you in the woods, you hear the sound of animals. You hear owls. You hear the occasional deer as it wanders through the woods itself. What are you doing in the grove?
I think that's an interesting question.
Okay. So
I think what I'm doing here is that I'm dying.
Okay.
Like, or earlier, before I had kind of, I don't quite know the right way to describe it, but I had cheated death before. But like, one can only cheat death so long, until one must actually die. But I've come here to die and then be reborn.
Okay. So you step into the middle of the woods. There's a break in the trees that casts light of pale moonlight down into the woods itself in a pure beam that forms a little patch on the ground. You stumble into it, and as you fall to your knees, and you look up, and this is perfectly framed. So you look up, and you can see the moon in the sky, staring down at you from this broken patch of earth. You can feel the blood running down your arms, the blood running into the ground itself. Where the blood lands on the ground, where the flowers were pale in the moonlight, they seem to take on a new color, a new vibrance. You don't know whether this is just your perception or whether this is actually happening. But you slowly feel a coldness come into yourself. And you hear movement behind you.
What sort of movement?
It's not large at all. It moves quietly, but your senses as they are, you can pick out the detail. You can hear a slight panting as it sniffs the air. You can feel something getting closer to you. And you can feel something lick your hand. As you look, there is a small dog there. The same dog Daniel saw in the graveyard earlier. It stares up with you with eyes which almost ask a question. You're not sure what the question is, but there's certainly more there than a normal dog. It licks your wounds. You can see it's lapping up the blood that it runs down your body. And in the moonlight, it slowly shifts. Its body grows. Its hair elongates. And in the moonlight, you see a beautiful young man standing, kneeling beside you, licking your open wounds. He turns to look at you. You're dying. Yes. I can feel the heat leaving your body.
Fucking genius we got here. Of course I'm fucking dying.
All mortals die. It is the way of it. All mortals. But not all. Some mortals die. Some of us just learn the trick of not dying. What is your name, young one? And he stands up, and his body is pure perfection.
Medea.
Medea.
McGinnis. She says, almost afterthought.
You are from our kin to the north, our kin to the west, the Gales. How do you feel about your death, child? And he reaches down and lifts you slowly up to your feet.
If I thought I was truly going to die here, it would be rather disappointing.
True death. Now that is
but there are other ways to even the balance, book.
Oh, you are a reckoner. You're one who seeks to bring order and balance. And what score do you keep, little one? And he steps up to you. His body's close to you. There's sweat on it now, and you can smell the musk coming from his body, and it is a musk. What score do you keep? What debt do you have yet to collect?
A pound of flesh.
A
From
pound
every asshole.
of
That
flesh.
thought they knew the first thing about me.
A pound of flesh. How very Shakespearean. So, do you wish to die in this glade?
Fuck no.
Fuck is such a good word, don't you think?
Fucking is.
Your goddess watches this place. What do you offer her? She has sent her disciple to you. What do you offer him?
I know how this goes. Medea says, it's not blood that runs through your veins.
No? So what
You
runs?
have it. The ichor. The essence. The true substance.
Is that what you wish or what you offer?
It's not what I offer. It's what I desire.
So I will ask you again. What do you offer the goddess? And what do you offer her disciple?
I will answer again. I offer a life.
Which life? Do you offer a life or do you offer a death? These are different things.
Are they?
Yes. One is an ending. The other is a journey towards an ending.
Very well then, which one does the goddess desire?
She will have a life. She will have one more devoted to her. She will steal one of the gods of this land and make her her own.
A most curious plan. And how might I serve her illustrious ladyship in this manner?
There is a young god who resides in your village, in your settlement. A young goddess.
My.
She would have her put aside the court of her mother.
I think I know just the bitch you're talking about.
Then we have an agreement, do we not? So you have answered one of my questions. What you offer the goddess? I will ask the second. What do you offer her disciple? He reaches down to the ground and pulls something from it. It's caked in dirt and mud, but as she holds it up to the sunlight purifies it, and it is a bronze dagger with a bone hilt. He takes it by the blade and offers it to you.
I offer her disciple then a death.
An ending and a journey to an ending. He opens his arms, then strike. If you wish
And
this,
I think what she does is she cuts her own throat.
okay. And he steps in.
With the dagger.
And he steps in and starts kissing it, sucking at the blood, licking the blood as a hound would. He holds you in his arms as you fall down into the long grass. Out of curiosity, what is your sex move? I'm not saying that that's actually what's happening here, but given the circumstances.
But given the circumstances of intimacy, we could call it that. Yes, I would agree. My sex move is I can take a sympathetic token from them, and they know about it, and it's cool.
Okay.
And I think it's the dagger.
Okay. That's fine. I have no problems with that whatsoever. You pass out in his arms. And in the meantime, we will cut back to the other two. So, Sierra, Daniel, where are you going? And how are you getting there? And how are you getting this distorted Wendy through the quad and through the school grounds?
I think quickly, I imagine most of the students are in their dorms. It seems like it's after clubs. I'm hoping most of the teachers have gone home to their real lives. I think we were just going to walk if she is capable of walking.
Okay, she does, but she stares round at the wonders that she sees around her. When a car passes on a road several meters over, she jerks and hides as if terrified. What are these? What is that monster?
It's just a chariot.
But there are no horses.
But many horsepower.
It is driven by a god?
Yeah. Audi. The god Audi.
This god Audi must be great.
Sure.
To summon...
I cannot remember the advertising slogan, but
to summon a herd of ghostly horses. This truly is the land of the dead, the land beyond the veil. Oh goddess, what other wonders are there here?
The rivers are still wet and flowers still grow, and where you're going, I'm sure, is exactly the same.
Okay. I do not understand what you mean by this. It's all so confusing. And as you move up through the darker patches of the grounds themselves, you come round a corner and walk straight up into a couple embracing on the floor. They are startled. They look up. And you see Thomas and Jasmine in each other's arms. Sorry. She starts putting her dude up to her shirt and, sorry, what you doing here? We'll be going. Alan, is that Wendy?
I'm so happy that you two have made up. I always knew you were right for each other. You know, everyone argues. That's just a sign of passion, and we'll catch you later. And this is not the strangely distorted roommate you're looking for.
Jasmine goes, what's wrong with her? And the creature inside Wendy turns and looks at her and starts stepping towards her.
No. Come on, Wendy. We're going down here. We're not gonna talk to Jasmine. We're not gonna talk to Thomas. Definitely not Thomas.
Yeah. She was smoking some of Thomas's supply, and I think she's not used to it. It hit her a bit hard, so we're just letting her walk off. You know, cool air helps. And I definitely reek of weed still. So
she turned to Thomas. You're still selling. You told me that you stopped. Oh well, no, I have done it. It's my brother, and he's looking over your shoulder at you and nodding as if to get you to play along.
Oh,
No,
yeah, it
no.
was probably Sebastian and not Thomas. I mean, I can't tell them apart. They look so much alike.
You promised that you would stop you. She's taking her bag and hitting him, and he's, don't stop it.
And I'm gesturing for Sienitas to like make our getaway while they're fighting.
I'm totally not videoing this. I'm gonna keep going.
And you slip out past the bounds of the school and up onto the mountain itself. You make your way up the hill. The mountain is home of sheep farms, and there are several herds of sheep on the hill itself. There is low-lying woodland, but there is a river that runs, a small stream that runs from the top of the mountain down into the village below. As you walk up, you notice that everything is a little bit strange here. The moonlight seems to be distorting things slightly. There seem to be more shadows than would be there before. And you catch glimpses of things out of the corner of your eye, and you're not sure quite what they are. You turn to look at them, and they're gone. You move up to the bridge itself, and you can see an ancient and decrepit stone bridge. It's tiny. It's only around about 8 foot across. And the stream, goes through a small gap underneath to pass out the other side.
So I think, how deep is the stream?
It's about 6-7 inches.
Okay. So Sienna kicks off her shoes and steps into the stream and kind of beckons Daniel to help Wendy into the stream.
Wendy doesn't resist and gets pulled through. Daniel, do you step into the stream?
Yeah, Daniel doesn't even bother kicking off shoes. He just kind of steps on in.
Okay.
He doesn't affect the current of the stream at all.
I was just getting to that. In fact, you don't seem to be actually entering the stream itself. You seem to be standing on its surface, but it's such a shallow stream, it's not really easy to make that out.
Is whether or not I noticed that, do I notice Daniel casting a shadow?
That's a good question. Daniel, do you cast a shadow in the moonlight?
Maybe if I were paying more attention to things, I might, but I definitely don't right now.
Are you okay, Daniel?
I mean, aside from Wendy having some kind of bone-breaking possession freak out, then yes, everything's awesome.
And
this is an unusually sarcastic comment for Daniel. He is standing up for himself.
I'm gonna like point at the stream where the water is just like going straight through your ankles, like each of them individually.
Or straight under my shoes. It's
or straight under your shoes, or however it works. That does not seem okay to me. And I'm the first to admit I am an outlier of weirdness right now.
Let's see, I am currently trying. So
you're fine. You're fine. We will talk later, or not at all. Whatever you want.
You did say you wanted to talk about it at some point, but maybe this isn't the time.
So we're going to walk to the bridge.
Okay.
And
as you step towards the bridge, the stream gets deeper. Well, it does and it doesn't. The stream doesn't get any deeper, but you step deeper into it. It's almost as if you're sinking into the water with each step. Daniel, on the other hand, doesn't. So as you step forward, Daniel stays at the same height as Sienna seeps into the stream itself. Wendy also steps forward and drops down with each step until Sienna gets to the bridge and she is up to her neck in the water. She could easily pass through the passage now. But Daniel, the way does not open for you.
Sienna, I don't think this is working. I'm going to crouch down to be able to see you, but I'm still on top of the water.
Okay, that I've never seen that before. I guess I'll catch you later.
I mean, I guess. And Dana looks very disappointed, even somewhat hurt by this, but there's no way around it.
I think there's definitely got to be a 6-month time cut after this scene.
And Daniel's just been standing here by the bridge the entire time going, but...
It was only like 5 minutes for me, right?
Oh, I don't know about that. I was thinking like Daniel goes on with Daniel's life.
Daniel doesn't have a life to go on with, but yes, I catch your meaning.
Okay. So Sienna steps into the Fey realm through the bridge, through the portal, and we'll take a break there. So we'll have a break for up until 1:45, if everyone's okay with that. And we'll pick up when we get back. Here we go. Hello. Can everyone hear me? Excellent. Just wait for Ryan now.
No. I guess we're back.
Of course, I used the break to read up on Welsh myths to remember what I've forgotten.
You have presumably forgotten more than we ever knew.
Most of what I know comes from a TV show I watched when I was much younger. I've never read The Mad Big Garden. It's really something I should do, but hey, I'm a Welshman that lives in England, so don't get much chance. Excuse me. Okay. Welcome back, Ryan. Okay, is everyone ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. In which case, Medea,
Oh my.
you wake in the middle of the glade. You're surrounded by... Firstly, your darker self is lifted at this point.
Ah, that makes sense.
As you wake up, there's a feeling of sunlight on your skin. You feel something cold in your hand. It's smooth, almost ceramic, but cold to the touch. Your hand lingers around this bronze blade with the bone hilt. And you lay in the moonlight, and you are surrounded by animals. In the trees above the actual clearing, you can see all manner of birds sitting. There are crows. There are owls. There are wrens. All manner of birds sit and watch you from the branches. As you open your eyes and stand up, you notice that there's something missing as well. Your clothes are gone. You stand sky-clad in the middle of this glade. Your skin is untouched. Can you please heal the one harm you had?
All right, I actually hadn't properly kept track of that.
You were on one harm at that point. Going into darker self basically removed the previous 4 harm.
Yeah, all right, so I put myself at 0.
So what do you do?
I look around at all the animals. Then I look down. And I'm kind of fucking fond of that dress too. And then I say, "Come on, out with it. What do you want?"
The animals just watch you. They watch with a strange calmness. And you hear a voice whisper on the wind. It's a familiar voice. It's one which you were speaking to previously. You know the answer to that. And as you look to the head of the clearing, where the moon shines down, there is a small dog. It's a scruffy dog. It has rough fur, but its mouth is still tinted red with your blood.
Yes, I know what you want, Kerr. What do the rest of these fools want?
The dog speaks. They witness. They are here to see you be born. Or you have been born anew. Can I ask, Medea? It was one of the characters, and I can't remember which. One of the characters was trans. Was it Medea or
Yes.
Sienna?
No, that'd be Medea.
Okay. Medea, how would you like to present at this point?
I think Medea's probably been on hormones for about a year or so. And so her body is starting to change in shape.
That's fine. I'm not going to go into the exact details. It's just, do you have long hair, short hair? Have you grown it out?
I think I have long
Okay.
hair.
As you look at the animals around you, the ones on the ground, the rabbits, the badgers, one or two snakes, they move towards you and they bow their head.
I don't think Medea likes animals very much.
Okay.
And she's just vaguely just comforted by, like, okay.
You have a bargain to fulfill.
Where is she?
She is.
This smells like. Smells like magic.
There are many forms of magic. A rabbit steps forward. It looks up at you. This one, and the dog speaks. This one will guide you to your quarry.
Then hark, let us avaunt.
Okay. At this point, the rabbit bolts and the other animals make a path for it through the clearing. Also a path for you as well. Do you follow?
I follow indeed.
Okay. You leave the clearing and the ground is rough underfoot. You get muddy and a little bit battered as you move through the forest at night. Not sufficient to cause harm, but your skin gets scuffed. You are covered in in mud as you make your way up the mountain. At this point, we will cut to Daniel. Daniel, you stand in front of this bridge, in front of the passage that goes underneath. How do you feel about being left here?
I mean, it hurts. I was trying to come along and it's chasing me out, and Santa just left me behind, and everyone just leaves me behind. I mean, Victor left me to die, and Maria didn't try to bring me back or anything. Yeah, this just keeps happening.
Okay, would you feel that you've been abandoned?
Definitely.
Then please gain that condition.
I'm maxed out on conditions.
Okay. So You stare out, you stand at the bridge, and there is water flowing under it.
Mhm.
Not a great deal of water, but it tries to pull the mud from your clothes and fails. It washes down under your feet as you stand upon the actual surface. And you smell the faint smell of tobacco in the air.
Kind of sniff and see if I can see where the tobacco is coming from, because Sienna wasn't smoking, and I'm not smoking.
You can see a figure walking up the actual path to the bridge. He has a dog with him. He wears a flat cap, he's wearing modern clothing, and he's smoking a pipe.
Must be the gravedigger then. I'll kind of stand up, try to dust myself off for whatever good that does, none at all, and just walk off of the river so I'm not standing there when he catches up to me.
You can see that he's got something over his shoulder. He's carrying what appears to be a large bag. He doesn't appear to have seen you yet.
I'm gonna walk over to meet him because he did, offer me a cup of tea once. He's, going to acknowledge me.
Okay. As he sees you, he visibly stops. His face is cold for a moment before it assumes its softer features. Hello, boy. You're a long way out so far at night.
Oh, yeah, I was out here with some of my friends, but they ditched me, so...
You come up here often?
Not here specifically, but, I like wandering a bit at night. And...
Why, there certainly are a lot of strange places that Daniel doesn't come often.
Daniel goes lots of places, just not always the same ones.
He walks up to the bridge and puts the big bag that he's carrying it beside it. You can see it's large and black and slightly rubbery.
What are you hauling around?
Lad, that's a question that best not be answered. I have my business, you have your business. And as you look at the bag, you've seen these in movies before? What brings you up here, boy?
Well, like I said, I was, with some friends, and they ditched me. Is that a body bag?
He looks at it and looks at you. It could be.
I thought you buried bodies instead of bagging them up, and are you going to throw it in the creek?
Oh, don't be ridiculous. It wouldn't get very far in the creek, would it?
No, I mean, it's not deep enough at all for that. That doesn't make any sense, but carrying it around here doesn't make much sense either.
Well, bodies have to go their places. Bodies can't just be left lying around. You'll never know who will find them. You might know the person inside.
Yeah, you might at that.
He stands up and relights his pipe. Lad, I think you've not been entirely honest with me. What are you doing up here? And he reaches into his shirt and pulls out a silver cross, a silver crucifix.
I'm not a vampire, if that's what you're thinking.
No, not a vampire. But you wouldn't be the first to haunt me.
Why would I be haunting you? I mean, I just met you the other day. It doesn't make any sense at all.
No, lad. I think you've got that wrong. We met a while ago.
And Daniel's memories of his death are really vague. He doesn't usually know everything. It's just like flashes that kind of come and go. And he's sitting here just kind of thinking, like, do I know this guy? I don't remember him. And clearly taken aback.
In fact, he reaches down for the bag and unzips it. I've had you for dinner for a few days now. And as he opens the bag, you can see a corpse within. It's a very familiar corpse.
Wait, did you just like prop me up at your dinner table or something? Is this some like Hannibal Lecter shit, or what are you doing here?
No, lad. I've had you in the catacombs for a while now. A young lady came and run into me after a terrible car accident. Sorry, motorcycle accident. We can't have the police involved now, can we?
I mean, no. Since what are you going to tell them? That you've got my body and I'm also right here?
Oh, it's not what I'm going to tell them, boy. It's not what I'm going to tell them back. It's what are you going to tell them?
What do you mean?
He zips up the body bag. As I said, you're not the first to haunt me.
Is somebody else dead around here? I mean, of course, people die all the time, but anybody I know?
Maybe. My catacombs are surprisingly busy these days. So out with it, lad. Is it me you're haunting, or is it the body?
I think at this point I just cut and run.
Okay. At which point, can you please run away? So run away. Roll volatile.
I've actually got a point to volatile, but I rolled a 3, so that makes this a 4.
Okay, well, gain a point of XP. You must be doing really well on that XP at the moment.
I am about to level up, yeah.
Excellent.
I am made a failure.
So you run. You run down the mountain. And as you run, the dog that was with him starts to run as well. It follows you. It runs after you. It easily keeps pace with you. And as you run, you come to another bridge. You cross it quickly and easily. It's a wood bridge. It's just a small piece of wood over the actual another stream running down the mountain. There's a small fence around it and near it. And you run and you run and you run into the forest. You run into the woods. And as you run, there is a thwop as something hits you around the head. Can you please take 2 harm?
Oh no.
And we will cut over to Sienna at this point. Sienna, you step into the water under the bridge. Wendy follows with you. As you step into the water, the flower that was on your lapel gets lifted up and floats on the top of the water down into the actual canyon itself. And this is what it is. The small gap under the bridge isn't a small gap under the bridge. As you step in, it becomes longer, darker. You can hear voices singing in the distance. You can hear crows cawing, and you hear the hoot of owls. You step into the water fully, and you step out on the other side in a large cavern. This cavern is at the base of a throne, and on the throne sits a giant. This giant is decked out in the robes of a king. It's missing its head, and all over its arms and the back of the throne, over its body, lingers owls. They turn to look at you as you step out of the water. And on the banks of the river, the banks of this cavern, at the base of this throne, there stands a woman, smiling to see you. Her skin is faint green, and her hair is blonde. There is flowers in her hair, and her eyes are bright. She almost seems to like the the cavern itself. And she steps over to you. My child, you have come. And the sun has not set.
Well, I was going to come anyway during the night, but then my friend needs help, and I knew you would be able to. So if I might ask...
What is it you ask of me? And who is this friend, and what is she to you?
Wendy is my roommate. She shares my room. And inside her, I think there's a ghost.
As you turn to look at Wendy, it is not Wendy standing there, but the maiden from the vision.
Okay, but this lady is inside my friend's body, and I think she wanted to come here, and I said maybe I could help her to,
Ah, yes, this one has slipped from my realm. Come, child, come to me. And she stands over to both. She steps over to both of you. The long robes flow in a wind that you can't feel. She embraces the woman who was Wendy and turns to look at you. This one offered herself as sacrifice to me many years ago.
Freely?
Yes, in exchange for a harvest. And it was a bountiful harvest. There are those still in this land that give worship to us still.
By killing people?
By making sacrifices.
Oh, okay.
By making oaths and pacts.
Well, that sounds not ominous at all. But just so we're clear, can I get Wendy back? Like, properly back?
I can certainly remove the sacrifice from her body. And I can get her back to you. But the question is, nothing is free. We are creatures of oaths and sacrifice and pact. What do you offer?
Well, I'm giving you an extra night of my time, right? I mean, because I was going to come...
Do you value yourself so much?
Well, Your Majesty, obviously you do. And it's your value, which is...
All gods should be valued by their followers. If I return this woman to you, she will remember this place. I cannot remove that memory from her. Do you really wish her to know these things?
Well, I'm sure Wendy won't tell anyone.
Wendy will not tell anyone. That could be said as well if I do not return her to you. You wish me to return her for one extra night. That is too high a price for what I offer. Make the bargain. What is she worth to you?
I'm sure it would be valuable to you to hear your name to be worshipped on these hillsides again.
No, there are those who still worship me here. Who worships you? You are a god, a goddess like myself. Maybe not as great or as well known. But who are your worshippers?
I have my fans.
Fans are wonderful things. But who worships you? Who is your priest? Who speaks out your name in great rites and offers sacrifices to you?
I mean, it's only the first day of term, so I'm working on that.
And that is my price. That is my price. You are a goddess. If you are to be a goddess, then you should be worshipped. You should have your own devoted masses. If you were to live as one of us, you should live as one of us. Don't you agree?
I'm not sure I'm following. Like, are you saying I have to go back out there and have some kind of a cult?
It is what we all do. It is how we gain our strength. Sorry, Sienna, not Sienna, Medea, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I think this would be a really good time for Medea to show up in the Fae.
Okay.
Because my job is to convince
No,
Sienna to make some kind of other bargain. And I think this is the speak power for hold your peace. Yes, I object.
I agree entirely. By all means, the water is disturbed. The owls, all the owls over the actual giant itself, shout out in alarm. A head emerges from the water. It's one you recognize, Sienna. As Medea enters the grotto.
Yeah.
Is this your mother? She's an even bigger bitch than you are. That's impressive.
I'm sorry. What's your name? Martina? Sorry, I'm blanking.
Medea snores. Oh, is that how we're going to play it then?
Well, I didn't say bitch first, bitch.
So, is anyone actually trying to?
I'm assuming I am shutting Medea down with my Martina comment at the very least.
Can you roll plus cold then for shutting someone down, please?
Yeah, I am, of course, not very good at that, but oh wow, that is a 1.
Okay, well, mark XP. And Medea, as a result of the failure, you'll get +1 forward on your next roll against Sienna.
Oh, that's on top of my +1 forward. Is that on top of my +1 forward from when I gazed into the abyss earlier?
I'll have you have +1 on the next 2 rolls then, rather than stack them all up on one.
So how does this play out?
Okay, what are you trying to do?
Well, I think first I'm trying to knock her down a peg. And in fact, kind of like knock them both down a peg and make my master seem like the truly powerful one.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Are you trying to shut it down yourself?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, can you roll plus cold, please?
Okay, I lost. Which dice were the? Let me do this again when I can actually figure out.
The at the top of the, just above the dice, it'll tell you what the last roll in the room was.
Oh, okay. Then 11.
Okay, so on 11, you get to choose one of the options from the shut someone down, I believe. I'm just trying to find the... So the options you have, yep, on 10 plus you choose one of the below. They lose a string on you. If they had no strings on you, you gain one on them. They gain a condition, or you take one forward.
Sienna has no strings on me, so I'll take a string on Sienna.
Brilliant. Okay, so what is your next move? Well, sorry, when I say the next move, what do you say? The queen looks offended. What are you doing here, creature?
I go where I please.
Not here, you do not.
Oh. Medea says, and she kind of kicks the dirt about a little bit. It seems my presence says otherwise, no matter what flowery words you might have. To the contrary.
Speak your peace, creature. But
What
no,
did she ask you to promise?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Well, Wendy, who got really fucked up earlier. I don't know if you saw what happened. There's some kind of a ghost inside her, and I brought her here to get rid of the ghost. But she wants me to promise a lot of stuff to get actually Wendy back.
Medea's face kind of scrunches up at this, because that's really not what she had in mind when she cursed Wendy. But she's not actually saying any of this out loud. But what has she offered you?
To take the ghost out of Wendy.
That isn't quite true.
Well, you know.
I've offered to make her what she truly is. I have offered her a path to godhood. She is a child at the moment, but she is one of our blood. She truly is a god of this land.
So I think Sienna is kind of like stepping over towards Medea and kind of not quite shutting off the goddess. Like we're having our own little conversation here to Medea. If that makes sense positionally.
Yeah, by all means.
Listen, I just came in here because I thought we could get rid of this fucking ancient ghost from some long lost druidic cult bullshit. I don't know where this ghost came from, but I would like to get Wendy back. And if you're amenable to do that, that's fine by me.
You always want to do things the hard way. Things could be so much easier.
How could things be easier?
Just let this bitch do her thing. Let her be. I know people who are much more reasonable, who can get you what you want. Without any stupid strings attached. And I'm going to spend a string to tempt Sienna here.
Okay.
So if you do what I want, you will get an experience, I think is how it works.
That's
Okay.
correct, yes.
Yeah. So I guess the kind of rider on that is Sienna goes and like, you're not going to pull any freaky shit on me. You're not going to pull any freaky shit on Wendy. We're just going to get everything back to normal, right? So I am tempting you to make a promise, right?
Back to normal? Sure. We can get things back to normal.
Okay. Well, I think I am accepting your string, so to speak, and you're making a promise to me. So I guess we both mark XP. And I'm not sure what the assembled deities behind us think of this.
There is
the phase probably. Oh.
No, sorry, go on, Jordan. You were saying something.
I think the phase probably started to fade around us. Like especially the moment that Sienna like positioned her body differently. Like the mist kind of part. And like the real world has been coming back into.
By all means, there is a flutter of owl's wings as the owls on the giant take flight. The giant rumbles in its chair. It tries to stand, but it is quite evident that the giant itself is confined to its throne. The goddess turns to Sienna. I offer you the chance to be a god to these people. I offer you a chance to fulfill your birthright. You reject that?
No, but it's still only Monday, and I have plenty of time for that, right?
I have offered my hand to you. I have given you a open hand of friendship. I've embraced you as kin, and this is how you treat me?
And I will totally come and visit you again. When we're all in a more reasonable state of mind, and we don't have emergencies and drama.
No, you are rejecting my offer and choosing this creature instead. This druid. You are placing yourself in the power of a mortal rather than being a god.
Well, you seem to be very negative at the moment, and I think we should let you think about.
Her eyes flare with fire. You can see the flowers in her hair darken and wilt. You choose this mortal over me. Are you even worthy of the gift that I've been offering you?
There is plenty of room in my life to have meaningful people around. I'm not choosing one person over another. But I can see you're angry, and I'm really sorry about that. And if I come and visit you at the weekend, maybe we can have, some tea and talk it through.
She holds her hand up into the air, and there's a singing noise as if a steel is flying, and its spear lands in her outstretched hand. The visage is changing. You can see blue lines of woad forming themselves on her skin. You can see her eyes darken. I've offered you a gift, and you have rejected me.
Okay, well, I'm gonna step out now and leave you be. I can see you're not in a state of mind to.
She hefts the spear.
Okay, Medea, now you can get us out of here, right?
And she throws it. And the woman who was Wendy is pinned to the wall.
Well, you were right, Medea. She is a thundering bitch.
I think when she reaches out to throw the spear, that's when I take the knife that I've been given. And
what do you do with it?
That's a good question.
You want to take Sienna as a hostage, don't you?
At the very least. Want to extricate us from this scene somehow.
Okay. In which case, describe what you're doing. Are you actually lashing out physically, or are you running away?
No, I'm running away. But I think, okay, know what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the dagger, and I think this is actually the same dagger that Sienna saw in the vision.
It is indeed. It is indeed
exactly the same way that the druid did in the vision. And before, I don't know exactly how this works physically or whatever, but before the spear can spear the woman, I kill her in the way the druid did.
Okay, in which case then, what I'd like you to
kind of ritual reenactment, and this is running away.
At this point, I'd actually like you to keep your cool, if you could, please.
Does this use cold?
This uses cold, yes.
That'd be a 3.
Okay. You strike into the woman who was Wendy, but your blow is... Actually, let me just have a look at keep your cool. Okay. You strike into the woman who was Wendy, but your blow is off. It strikes her in the shoulder rather than through the chest. And as the spear hits her, it rips the dagger out of your hand as she flies towards the wall. The spear, it lodges into the wall, and the woman is skewered to it. The dagger still in her shoulder. Now you can run away if you'd like.
All right, then yes. Wait, is this a separate roll?
This would be a separate roll, yes. This would be with
No,
one.
actually, I'm changing tactics. I just hit my advance.
Okay. What are you purchasing?
And the move I would like to take from the witch skin. I'm sorry, I have to get this up.
There's a bunch of other hexes which could help in this situation. Like
Yeah,
binding.
the hex I want is wither.
Okay.
Okay.
No, that's the link to the hangout.
If your DXP advances take all the remaining hexes, so you don't even have to choose, you just get the 3 you don't have.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
So that's binding, wither, and illusions, I think it is.
That's correct, yes.
I'm playing
In
the
which
witch in
case-
another campaign at the minute, so I'm up to speed.
So I turn to the goddess, the queen, and I say, "I'm just enough. Mortal this, mortal that." And I cast a wither hex, and I start speaking in tongues, and try and cast a wither hex on her.
Okay. Can you please roll with plus dark then, I believe?
That'd be an 8.
Okay. So the hex works, but you choose one. The casting does you 1 harm. The hex has weird side effects, or you trigger your darkest self.
I think the casting cost me 1 harm.
Okay. As you cast the magic towards her, her own magic responds instinctively. Thorns fly out from the flowers around the actual bank itself and pepper your shoulder and arm. Take 1 harm.
All right, that does put me at 2 harm. No, that puts me at 1 again.
That's right, yes. The Bloodwind, the queen, cries out in pain. She collapses to her knees. And all around you, the air is filled with angry feathers and claws and beaks as the owls descend from the giant on the throne.
I guess now we're running, right?
Yes. They surround her. They shield her. As they fly around her, she vanishes, but they come at you with all the anger and rage and aggression of one who's seen their mother injured.
And just so I'm completely clear, like Wendy or the ghost who was inhabiting Wendy's body is skewered and slashed at and essentially dead, right?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. So I'm just straight out running for it then.
Okay.
I think we probably end up wherever Daniel is.
Yes, you flee up the river. You flee into the night. And can you roll your runaway, please? Which is plus volatile, I believe.
That is a 5 from me.
Okay.
Oh, do you want me to roll as well?
Yes, please.
It'd be a 5.
Okay. I'm going to allow you to get away in this instance, but I'm going to say you both leave something behind. What do you leave behind?
I leave behind my sympathy token of Sienna, which is her wood earring.
Brilliant.
I think maybe there's another piece of jewelry which Sienna never really takes off, which maybe creeps and witches alike have not seen before. It's like a fob necklace, which she was told growing up was her mother's. So maybe that comes off. A crow or an owl grabs it and the chain breaks.
Okay. So you run away. You run up the stream. You flee from this mass of talons and beak and feathers. And you flee out into the night. You flee down the mountain. And at this point, we'll cut over to Daniel. Daniel, you were fleeing in the forest. There was a hound chasing you. You stepped round the corner and you got cracked on the head by something. You fell to the floor. You were dazed. You can hear someone swearing above you. As you open your eyes, you see another face beside you. You see Jasmine's dead eyes staring into yours.
Just scream and try to like scuttle myself away from Jasmine's body.
Fuck! 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 A club made out of a tree branch swings down and barely misses you.
Okay.
Fucking little twerp!
Can I see who's...
You recognize the voice of Thomas.
You killed Jasmine. I thought you were dating.
Or is it Thomas? As your vision clears up, you can see it as his twin. Stupid little twerp. He takes the branch in 2 hands. You should never have seen this. And he starts to advance on you.
And I look at him, and there's a moment where normally it's really not hard at all to freak Daniel out, but instead he just kind of looks and goes like, no, you can't do that.
Can't do what? And he's advancing on you. He picks up the wood. He raises it. He sees that you're not moving. Little twerp. He looks at the body. She made me do it. Stupid little bitch.
And the mud is not just at Daniel's cuffs anymore. It's like clear up to his elbows, and it's mixed through with blood, and up to his knees as well on his pants. And he goes, you can't kill what's already dead. And I want to lash out at him.
Okay. Can you roll plus volatile, please?
Let's see if I can roll more than a 3 for once.
You've had some of the worst luck so far.
Yeah. Haha! That makes it a 10, because I actually have a bonus to volatile.
Excellent. So can you describe what happens, please? And how you do it?
So Daniel doesn't have a weapon and definitely doesn't have a club of his own, but just kind of ends there and then just goes from 0 to 60 in an instant and launches at it, Sebastian, and just kind of like claws through his chest, but his hand actually moves through Sebastian's chest.
Okay. He has the club raised. His eyes go wide. He looks down. What are you? He stumbles back off your hand. As your hand pulls out of his body, are you holding anything?
I don't think I quite rip his heart out of his chest, but it probably wasn't comfortable.
Do it.
But when your hand comes out, are you holding would it be an actual heart or would it be a ghostly heart?
Yes, I'm totally pulling a ghostly heart out of his chest. I don't know what that does to him, but it's awesome.
He stares at you and clasps his chest. He's having trouble breathing. He drops the club and stumbles to his knees. He's not quite gone, but he's not in a good place. And he is totally at your mercy.
I'm just standing there holding his ghost heart, going, so why did you have to kill her then, eh?
My brother, she was going to turn him into the pigs.
And that was enough for you?
He's my brother.
So you just killed her out here and you're going to leave her behind for anyone to find, for, you know, the wolves. Well, I guess there aren't wolves in Wales. You know, for animals or something. Were you going to tell anyone that she was dead?
People vanish on these mountains all the time. They never find the bodies.
That was the wrong fucking answer. I want to pick up the club and just brain him with it.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for this. He's not in position to resist. You beat him. Do you just hit him once, or do you let out all your rage and aggression?
Yeah, just way past the point where it makes any sense, just smashing him with this club.
Brilliant.
Like I'm taking out all of my aggression at everything on him.
Brilliant. That's what we like to hear. And in that case, then, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to remove a condition.
Hooray.
So, looking at the character, which condition would you like to remove?
I think it makes sense to remove lightweight because I am being pretty hardcore in this instance.
Oh yes, I would totally agree with that. There's nothing lightweight about this.
Yeah.
This is cold-blooded murder. Well, self-defense technically, but so you beat him and you beat him and you beat him and his head cracks and you keep on beating. All your aggression goes out, all your anger flows out into this until what's lying on the floor is what Sebastian used to be, minus the mush that is his head. The blood pools and flows. It spurts out of the wounds. It spurts up in your face and over your body and passes through you to land behind. But your hands, they are covered in blood. You've taken a life. How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel powerful and to an extent avenged. Like he thought he could just throw us both out in the woods and we'd be gone. And look at how badly that went for him. He can't just ignore me.
Okay. I'd like you to remove traumatized as well.
Aha.
But a few moments later, You hear a sharp intake of breath. My God, kid, what have you done? 2 of them. And you turn,
the voice.
you turn and see the gravedigger and his dog who have followed.
And still, covered in blood, which is partly mine, but mostly not. And holding this bloody, grainy club, which I'm going to drop as soon as I see him, say, he killed her. He was trying to kill Mia too, and he can't, but he was just going to leave her here. I couldn't let him do that. Someone had to stop him.
Aye, lad. Someone did. You only killed the one?
Yeah, she was dead when I got here.
Leave me.
He said she was going to turn his brother in.
Leave this to me. Run. I'll take care of this.
And I am going to take him up on his offer after kind of...
And he is going to take a string. He is going to take a string on you for that.
Okay.
Okay, so you
So
run
now
away.
I'm running again, but with extra blood.
You run away and running in another direction. There was another group of people. There's several streams down this mountain. There's several bridges over. You both come to the wood bridge that Daniel ran over previously. On one end, you have 2 people, one of which is naked. How do you look? How do you both look at the moment?
I guess our clothes are kind of torn, and our hair is maybe like a Saturday morning lion kind of hair, all kind of torn and bedraggled. And I don't know. Have we been running for a while? Our breaths are gone.
You've been running for about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. So maybe a little bit panicked. We're in survival mode, maybe.
Okay. And Daniel?
I think Medea looks like she just stepped out of Botticelli's The Birth of Venus.
Excellent.
Stylish as always.
Like radiant and full of life.
Excellent.
Despite the fact that she is utterly naked.
Okay. And Daniel, how do you look at the moment?
So Daniel still has his kind of forlorn, bedraggled look, except that the amount of stuff is creeping further up his arms and legs than it normally does, and there is a lot of blood on him, like splattered over his blazer, kind of plastering his hair to his face. And yeah, there's a lot more blood.
Okay.
And still, that kind of formaldehyde frog imprint on his blazer, which is increasingly ridiculous as more and more stuff happens.
Okay, so you are both there. What do you do? All 3 of you are there. What do you do?
I think Sienna, as soon as she sees Daniel, will run over to him and give him a hug and like say that she should never have left him.
Are you trying to remove my condition?
I don't know.
That sounds like a very
yeah. I don't know if I can actually do that mechanically.
Well, when I take appropriate action to alleviate it, it goes away. But
yeah,
but you're giving me an intro. It seems.
I can definitely try to turn Daniel on.
That would actually be the first roll of that move of this entire 2-game session, which I think is a first for Monsterhearts.
There you go.
Yeah, this has not been a very sexy game of Monsterhearts.
No. Am I leveraging on your abandoned condition in that case?
You could if you want to get a bonus to rolls against me.
No, well, I'm just asking if it's
true.
pertinent.
If you're
I will
turning me
apply.
on by saying that you came back for me, then you get a bonus.
Yeah. It makes fictional sense, I think.
I'm
think
just
it'll-
stuck on the image of you seeing me covered in blood and immediately going, "This is the time to hit on Daniel."
Well, exactly. Okay, so that is at 13.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have to look up to
So
someone on.
I get a string, and then Daniel chooses from the list,
Okay.
from the list of reactions.
So the reactions are: I give myself to you, I promise something that I think you want, or I get embarrassed and act awkward.
So Daniel's totally taken aback when she gives him a hug, but after a second, just kind of hugs back and says, "Yeah, don't worry. I won't let any of them get you."
Excellent.
I promise.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness! Does that also trip the Fae promise thing? Because I've now got something.
Yeah, I think so.
I think the words "I promise" definitely actually.
Yeah. Get that XP, huh? Is that level up
levels
time
me.
yet?
Okay, and what is Medea doing while this is going on?
Medea makes a sideways glance at this reunion, human affection below her.
Mostly human.
But she looks at Sienna and says, Friday night at the Grove. And then she walks away again into the night.
Okay. As she walks away, there is a loud rumble from the mountain itself. It physically bucks under your feet. There is a flutter of birds in the air, all sorts of birds, but there is a distinct hooting of howls. Of howls. No, not of howls, of owls. Let's see if I can actually pronounce that properly. As the mountain shakes, you can feel like something is moving under the mountain itself. But you can also feel something being sucked into the mountain. As you look around you on the mountainside, the mountain flowers and the grass, the heather, the small plants and animals, the small plants, the ferns, wither. It's almost as if a curse has been cast on the mountain and the plants that reside there, that they should wither and die.
Does everything I touch, like if I like God, what's the word? Put my fingers up against a tree, do its leaves kind of go golden and then kind of shrivel up?
Yes. It's almost as if it reacts to the magic within you.
Then I think I kind of do that thing where you drag your hands through bushes and like idly, like leaving a kind of idle path of destruction. Um, on my way back home to go to bed.
Okay. So final word of the night goes to Sienna and Daniel. You're standing by this bridge as the flowers around you wilt and die. How do you react?
I think Sienna is crying. Because she's destroyed all of this that she loves just to save her own skin. Or something like that.
Okay. Daniel.
Daniel's like fishing in one of his pockets for like a packet of tissues or something, trying to offer one to Sienna because he has no idea what's going on. But he's just looking at this path of destruction following Medea, going, I thought I was the dead one.
And back in her dorm, Wendy closes the door to her dorm room and slips silently into bed. The camera zooms in on her as she takes off her clothes, and you can see that there is a wound in her shoulder that is stitching itself closed, and a wound in her chest which lays open, and within you can see her heart beat as she slips into bed and pulls the cover over her. And we'll call game there.
Alrighty then.
Thank you. I've really enjoyed that tonight.
That was a load of creepy fun.
Well, you know what they say, kill early and often.
Yeah.
Well, I was not expecting you to try and push him out the window. I was not expecting that.
I mean, it was such a golden opportunity.
Oh no,
They present themselves like that very often.
I totally agree. Always play at 11. Always, if something comes up and you have an opportunity to do something, you should always take the opportunity to do something. And yes, I will stop the broadcast.